A very good evening to you and welcome to Big Talk here on Global Television. My name is Godwin Sunday. Quite a lot of conversation to have this evening. But let's begin the conversation first from the Nigerian borders and how we've been able to secure the Nigerian border security in Nigeria, knowing full well that we have a lot of porous borders in the country. But looking at all of this and trying to assess the level that we've gotten to and the level of insecurity in the country, talking to me right now is the person of Kumasi, who happens to be an expert when it has to be the border issues in Nigeria. But first, let me welcome him to the show. But before I do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. And you can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices, so keep track of our broadcast. Okay, so let me delve into the conversation right now. First, you're welcome to the Big Talk on Global Television.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunday.
All right, so let's delve into this issue of Nigerian porous borders. It tends to be a conversation that is never ending because when one tries to tackle the border security issue, another ground tend to open. If one look at it from the north, the south will open up. If one look at it from the south, the east will open up. And when one look at it, try to tackle it from the east, the west will tell you at this point in time, we are not silent in opening up in this conversation. But you are the professional in this field right now. So let's begin to assess the conversation around what do you make around the border security in Nigeria as it stands right now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunday. You know, when you say border security, it's just a word, but has a lot of expansion. Border security is a very serious business. It's a very serious security challenges that must be tackled head on. Well, I could remember during the appointment of the current Controller General of Immigration, Kemi Nananandap, by the President. The mandate given to her is border security. So far, she is doing very well. She has done very well because she has captured almost all the visas on the tour, and she's still doing it. I think currently, as at yesterday, she's supposed to be on her way to Jibia border to go and see a fact-finding mission, kind of, and to tackle what she can be able to tackle. You know, border security needs fundings, needs more fundings. The last time I came here, I made mention of that. When the border security as at that time, those days were funded very well. They did things effectively. Now, immigration need two things, just two things. The manpower. Immigration is lacking manpower. The entire staff strength of immigration, I don't think they are more than 30,000 naira as it is now. Immigration needs not less than 50,000. I think the CG has secured 10,000 approval to recruit more men because we need more men than officers. That's the area of concentration. We need more men. When you are manning, you have to get men to man. Then you have the security gadget for surveillance. Then apart from the manning, that's the security surveillance is what I'm trying to talk about. Then after all these things, there is something I call local engagement, the community policing. This is where the community policing comes in. You see, these royal fathers that we normally take for granted, they have a lot to contribute. We have district head, ward head around these borders. The security apparatus must carry these people along. They know the presence of each and every foreigner in their domain. Initially, immigration does that. They are attached to each and every local government. But 774 local government areas, immigrations are there. What are they doing? There is no working tools, no communication gadgets. So they are virtually empty. Most of the controller generals that came on board, they concentrate on passport. It gets irritating. So fortunately, this particular administration left passport alone and decided to deal with the border security head on. So now, I think in the 2025 budget, the border equipment have been captured. So I'm sure between now and in 3 months' time, you start seeing some changes. But what she has would never be enough. No matter how much is the immigration budget for this year, 618 billion thereabout, which 400 billion goes for capital project. The entire 618 billion is not even enough for border security. The entire 618 billion. Immigration needs something like 1 trillion. Because I keep on saying, people are underestimating the immigration area of operation. It's very large. If you have something like over 1,400 porous borders, and how many legitimate borders, even the legitimate borders, we couldn't be able to man it very well. How much more the porous borders? So you don't need just the man there, but you need operational gadget, vehicles, cameras. Some areas you don't need to be there in person. You see what is going on. Then if it warrants you seeking for more forces to back you up, there are forces there. At the border, you see, we have customs, we have DSS, we have police. Some kilometers away from the border, you have military. So in the area where immigration is properly operational at the border, then whatever is beyond immigration, they invite other security agents to help. So in the nutshell, what I'm trying to say here is that the locals, the traditional institutions must be carried along in this operation. It's not a one-man business. Immigration need support, human support, and operational gadget. Otherwise, we are going nowhere. Whatever the CG will do or the minister will say they will do, they can never get it right unless more funding is being pumped. So I advise the CG in this 2026 coming year, she should inject more, concentrate more on immigration border funding than any other project. Because that's the area that is putting everybody at risk. If you watch now very well, if the border is properly secured, police and other security agencies will have less job to do. What are we talking about here? Immigration have trained border corps with camouflage, operating very well. You know, this camo is a moral boosting uniform. Overnight, the last administration of the last NSA came under, struck out use of camouflage by the immigration. But the military can use, the police can use. Is military at the border? Is there any police at the border? But the border corps supposed to wear those camouflages to be able to operate, freely and, how do I call it? With a morale booster, kind of. The uniform you are seeing, the more you put inferior uniform, the more you look inferior. Sometimes that uniform signifies, I don't know whether you are getting where I'm heading to. As you are now, you wear suits, well cuted in your suit, going to wherever you are going in your area of duty, you look more presentable than putting on your agbada to go to a corporate places. So my own is that they should bring back this current NSA in his wisdom, should bring back that camo for the border corps. Let immigration pump more men in that border corps operation of the service. Then let that border corps be a semi-independent, answerable. The commander should be answerable direct to the CG, not to the DCG operations, not to the DCG border patrol, direct to the CG, but somehow affiliated under the operation, under the supervision of those DCGs in charge of border or operation. But in the area where you have so many bosses you are reporting to, there will be lapses. So what I'm trying to say, let's base the argument on three things. One, the uniformity of the border security, the border corps, the immigration house. Number two, or the area of funding. And under that funding, there should be a staff welfare package that when you are at the battlefield, you should be able to sacrifice your life and for your country. But in the area where your welfare is not well packaged and you die in the line of duty and your family are being chased out, I said this thing time and time, without a proper feeding, somebody will compromise. So let there be package, a very good package, then the uniformity, bring back the border corps uniform, then bring back the operational gadget, recruit more men. More men, at least, if my advice will be listened, I will advise at least 10,000 junior officers alone, secondarians, 10,000 junior officers alone. Let there be presence of the immigration officers at the border more than the passport offices. You go to passport office in Ikeja, Ikoyi, Festac, you go to Kano, you see one passport office have over 100 personnel. Doing what? These people, these places should be decongested, and you post them down to the border areas.
All right. So, Ambassador Kumasi, we've listened to some of the analysis you've given so far, but let's take this conversation a bit deeper that affects the ordinary Nigerian on a rural community. First, let's look at Benue State and take the conversation to Plateau State, then move the conversation away from Plateau State down to Kebbi, to Sokoto, to other parts of the north. There's been such a conversation as people coming from different border communities to attack indigents of various communities. And the migration, to a very large extent, to the best of my knowledge, have not been stationed within those border communities to cushion the effects. 774 local governments in Nigeria tend to suffer the same border challenge, which the immigration right now tend to be also dragging slot with the Nigerian military, who are designed to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria. But let me bring this conversation back to you as an expert on this field. In your assessment of the immigration, have we missed it at the point? And how do we begin to draw the line between the immigration and the Nigerian military in order to safeguard the lives of Nigerians, even within Plateau and Benue, that has become a near-war theater as it stands right now?
Point of correction, immigration is not dragging anything with the military. Every agency has its area of operation. The military knows their area of operation, and immigration don't jump out of their area of operations. Internal security is in the hands of police and the military in extension. Border security is in the hands of immigration. And so if there is anything that is needed, I always say this: if you equip immigration, they will do wonderfully well. Immigration have been trained by the military in these days. We have fellow defense colleges. We have those that graduated from DSS schools, training schools, and the Immigration Command and Staff College. These people did not just go there and warm benches. They went there and studied. So all these things, you will just gather it and put the officer in one corner. No, it doesn't work that way. What I advise the system to do right now is those that graduate from any professional courses should be designated to a particular area where their service is highly needed. What they learn there, those that graduated from DSS training school, should be posted to the intelligence unit of the service. Those that graduate from military training school, combat ready, and whatever, should go to areas where their services are needed. I kept on saying 774 local government you mentioned. We have immigration officers in all the 774 local government areas of Nigeria. And it will interest you to know that most of these immigration officers have no even accommodation, no staff quarters, no offices. They always rely on the local government to provide 1 or 2 offices for them to operate. You go there, even computer gadgets we don't have. How do you communicate with the border areas? No way. The immigration are supposed to work hand in hand with the traditional institutions in those local government, and of course the local government administration. But in the area that you don't have what to use to work, how do you do things with bare hand? It's not possible. And talking about internal security, when any operation, you gave example of Benue, Plateau, most of these crises are not originated by foreigners. They are the locals, herders, farmers, issues, one tribe against one tribe, settlers against the indigenes. These are mainly, so if there is any presence of foreigners, it's just a little presence of foreigners. Mostly they are the local, the indigenes and the settlers problem. In Benue and Plateau, I can testify this. In KB, what have you? KB have presence of some Lukurawa and so on. This Lukurawa, they did not started coming to the border like that. They started forming themselves. There were so many DSS alerts to the security agencies. There is this. Their own is to gather intelligence and disseminate it to appropriate authorities, the military, the police, the immigration, and so on. And they have been doing their best. But the problem is that the best is their bests are not enough, or their best is not enough. How do you do to correct it? When somebody you are pushing the person to front line and it's not doing, then you understand, you outline what is the challenges there. You first of all iron that challenges, try to sort it out before asking the person to go further. What are the challenges? I will still go back to operational gadgets. As I say immigration this year were given about 600 or got budget, they budgeted 618 billion. The entire 618 billion capital project, salaries and overhead, that's what makes the composition of that 618 billion. Mr. Sunday, I'm trying to tell you today that the entire 618 billion is not even enough to secure some portion of the borders. It's not enough. Because operational gadgets are very expensive. The hard terrain vehicles are equally expensive. Immigration needs some APCs, not just Hilux. When you are moving with Hilux in an open, these bandits or whatever you call them, they go in groups. They can move 100 or 200 motorcycles. Each motorcycle carries 2. With each person has about 2 rifles of AK-47. There is no number of immigration or military can stop them.
But I thought they've had more of a joint security outfit. Which
that is the area I'm now coming.
Yeah, please go ahead.
If the border must be properly secured, there is something they call joint border operation. In 1988-89, there was something like this that was very effective. Why can't we introduce such kind of operation? If it is immigration, military joint patrol, immigration, police joint patrol, as it was then, immigration, custom joint patrol. We had immigration, police joint patrol on human trafficking or anti-human trafficking, and it works. Why can't we reintroduce such operational tactics to see? Because when you are applying one method and it's not working, you change the dimension, the direction of the method you are using. You change the method. When you are applying A, it doesn't work. You have A to Z. Look for the plan B and go on plan B. So what I'm trying to say is that immigration, yes, immigration is on course with this current leadership. Yes, the CG is trying, the minister is trying. Yes, let's leave it at that. But if you want it to be more operational, effectiveness of the border must go with adequate funding.
Well, Ambassador Kumasi, report has it that a lot of immigration officers from the airways and through to the waterways and down to the lands have been noted to be on the forefront of asking migrants or immigrants into the country, what do you have for us? When you get to the Nigerian airports, for example, we can't deny the fact that a lot of travelers that are coming into the country will say that immigration was asking me, what do you have for me? In terms of what did you bring from where you went to back to the country? And this has dent the reputation of the immigration. And we can't deny the fact also that this is not just happening within the airways. It is also happening in our waterways and also happening on our lands in the country. At this point in time, can we say that the immigration service are becoming negligent and further supporting and accelerating the level of criminality in Nigerian as it stands right now by personnel that are negligent in their posts of responsibility and are not taking charge and responsibility in discharging their primary mandate?
Well, I want you to understand, you are talking about extortion. Extortion is not only about immigration.
But they open up the borders
the
for us,
incidences that we had, I watched some of these videos that somebody, an immigration officer at one of the airport, whether Abuja or Lagos airport, asking, what do you have for us? And immediately the CG, the recent ones, the CG got to know about it. The officer is facing disciplinary action right now. And as a result of that, all the airports were ransacked. In Kano alone, she transferred 84 personnel immediately. In Abuja, almost all the staff on ground, all the personnel on ground were replaced. In Lagos, it was a tsunami, I call it. She did very well because between Lagos, Kano, and Abuja, she transferred over 500 personnel out of the airport, those with that questionable character. And I assure you that that was the clip you saw. It has already been tackled. And bad eggs are everywhere. You cannot blame immigration officer or immigration organization for attitude of an officer. There is a proverb in Hausa that I can give birth to a child, but I cannot detect his what is in his head.
Probably want to say it's Hausa.
Zaka haifan yaro, amma baka san halin abin da yake kunshi a cikin abun gaba. Halayen shi ba. So the issue is, you only have the personnel, but you don't know what the person had in mind. But CG made her doors open, that whenever and wherever you found such officers, report to appropriate immigration authority. As it is now, this morning, a controller of Murtala Airport was removed when she was on her way on a border, official visit on a border course, or border
patrol?
Border workshop. Right now, on her way, she already approved the removal of and replacement immediately. So she does not compromise. That I will give it to her. When a report came to her about Kano issue, not only she removed the head of the Kano because of some lapses, Not only she removed the head of the Kano airport, that the OC Makia, she as well ransacked the entire shift that participated in the ugly incident that took place during that time. So, to me, she's trying her best. But as I said, she needs more support. If I am to advise the ministry and the agency, I will say the minister, instead of him busy looking for e-gate, e-passport, whatever, he should leave that one as it was. It helps. Let both of them join forces together. He is in the FEC. He's a FEC member. There are areas that is above CG. He should present it on the floor of the Federal Executive Council. He will get automatic approval. So what I'm trying to say in the nutshell is that the minister should use more forces in the area of border security, support her, and leave the passport alone. Because it's shameful for us to, every day we are talking about passport. If I am the president today, wallahi, I will take away passport from that service and allow the service concentrate on dealing with aliens and other expatriates. Passport is not the only component, only unit of the service. Every minister will come, passport. Is there anything there that they are not telling us? Why is the ministry always dragging passport with the agency or the service? Why? Why are they not dragging border with the service? Why are they not trying to do something different from the border? Why is the ministry only, as a policy maker, now the minister as a policy maker has turned to operational? There's no big deal about that. It's not nothing bad about that. As far as it is the agency, he's the supervisory head of that agency. It's nothing bad, but he should not be too present in the area of operation. He should and he should use that his strength. The guy is very intelligent. Olububitunji Ojo. He's very intelligent. So he's using his intelligence in the wrong direction. I will advise him to put heads together with the CG or Immigration High Command. They know the job better than he do. He's just a member of House of... He's just a politician, let me use that way. These guys have been in the system for over 30 years. The practical experience and the theoretical experience are there. You should join heads with them and achieve some achievable something, not just to be dragging and show power of supremacy. I don't buy that idea. So let's leave that aside and go to that border area, the area that interests me more. I'm from Katsina, and I know the damages that porous borders cost us. We are battling with insecurity today as a result of porous border that did not start yesterday. It started over the years. And now they are becoming like monsters. They're becoming like monsters that had to be eliminated.
So you were saying that despite the fact that the North is being relegated to insecurity challenges, and most of the borders right now in the North has become more than porous. They have become more exposed to criminal activities of influx and outflow of criminals into the country. You're saying that at this point we shouldn't focus on that. We should rather begin to look for better ways to address immigration, if I understand you correctly. Is that what you're saying?
You did not understand me correctly.
All right.
Rather, you were in the wrong direction.
All right, please.
What I mean is that instead of the ministry or the agency, because the agency are gradually taken out of passport operation. So instead of the ministry to be using passport as a yardstick, they should channel their strength at the border area. Immigration, you go there, how many times I witnessed the CG summoned the border controllers. Of recent, she had a general meeting with all the border controllers, in fact, all the state controllers, that everybody must bring the challenges he or she is facing in their commands. And she's working seriously on it. She said it plainly in a meeting that I was part of it. She said, my mandate is to secure the border. And I'm very serious. I mean, I am on a mandate. So I have been monitored. I have to do beyond reasonable doubt. Fortunately, she got some fundings that she would like to use it diligently in order to secure some equipment for the border operation. But what I am saying, that will not be enough. That, even though she used the entire money, it will not be enough. So don't get me twisted, because you journalists, sometimes somebody will be facing one, you will just direct me to area that I did not say. What I mean is that the immigration need the backing, full backing of the minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo in securing that border. They should leave passport. They have done the best they can do. The passport can stand on its own. Let's face border head on. And the border should not, you keep on saying immigration, immigration. The thing, it surprises me, because security is every man's business. You and I are involved. The area of carrying the locals along is here. The area of better, improving the welfare is very important. Welfare of the officers at the borders should also be looked into. Somebody cannot fight a criminal with an empty stomach. The salary, the allowances of border corps should be increased to something attractive. You'll be surprised that an immigration officer at the border is receiving 80,000 naira per month. How much is his transport going? Immigration have not been quartered. We don't have quotas at the borders. Unlike custom and other security agencies, we don't have quotas. Sometimes we patch with the customs and the DSS to get a place to operate. Go to Idiroko border. Immigration is under the umbrella of custom to shelter them. We need staff quarters. We need our own building. I mean, immigration need their own building. Let me not use our own as if I'm part of. I was part of the system, but I am not. I'm also heading a different organization. And my organization has to do with peace and community development. And that's the area, head or toe, I'm still there. Whether immigration side, as a retired immigration officer, I have a say. As a peacemaker, I also have a say. Because the peace, you see, is a very expensive commodity. You cannot get it so cheap when it is when the country or a community is in disarray. But when everything is in order, peace is the most cheapest thing you can get. So we don't want to lose the entire, because we are losing it. So we don't want to lose it completely. We have to stop it somewhere. Get the welfare of the officers at the border tackled. Then trust them to do better. You can be patriotic to a certain extent, but not when you are hungry. A hungry man is an angry man. You are giving the person AK-47 to go and secure the border. You are giving policeman AK-47 to come and patrol on the road, whereas he doesn't have anything to turn back to. Salary have been delayed, and so on. Poor salary that he is receiving has been delayed. Tell me, what stopped the officer from being compromised? So the area, the first thing we should look into is the staff welfare, my brother.
Well, Ambassador Oseni Kumasi, let's talk about, you've mentioned journalists, and by implication, you've implicated me on my job.
I'm sorry.
Journalists
but I'm just saying the fact.
No, we take we take side in the conversation, but it's not the way it is. But because we look at the fact and try to x-ray those facts and try to bring a position for our viewers to make an informed decision. But looking at all of this, you've rightly said that the Immigration Controller General has been doing magnificently well in terms of positioning personnel within the border space. But then we have a surge in criminality within the borders. And reports, some skeptical reports, not authoritative report, has it that most of these incidents are not happening in isolation. They are happening at the behest of immigration officers. And in this particular incident, like I've mentioned about the immigration officers asking you, what did you bring for us and what is in it for us in this particular instance. But we've had also situations whereby people coming from Badagry borders, they come in from Ikom borders, and they're coming from other borders across the country, not porous borders, but official borders from the country. And you get to these borders and you begin to tip immigration officers, and you give them some stipends, and they allow you to come into the country disregarding whatever you brought into the country. And this has become a very pressing conversation that Nigerians are begin to ask, begin to ask. Couldn't this be a source of a criminality evolving and surging in the country? But then let's bring the conversation again to the studio. We'll begin to ask a salient question at this point. Assessing the criminalities here on the borders and on our border space, and there is no immigration officers, like you've said, that a lot of policies have been put in place. No immigration officer has been sanctioned on in the open and on the media space. No immigration has been meted with a lot of social social position of the people of Nigeria by trying them in a civil trial. And this has become worrisome across board. But then, when looking at all of these, no form of public scrutiny, no form of public sanction, and all of these based on negligence of immigration officers, doesn't this speak volume in terms of immigration officers at the borders being in connivance with criminal elements to be able to bring Nigeria down to its knees in terms of criminal activities that is on the rise? Looking at Plateau State, looking at Benue State, and looking at not about the state borders, but the various local government that connect this local government together, which has to be on the feeder roads of this community. Can we say at this point that immigration is negligent in its discharge of a responsibility?
You are still taking me back to a matter that has been resolved. Immigration is not negligence. When you are talking about Benue and Plateau, I will still insist immigration has no problem there. Blame the police and the intent.
But the borders remains
it's very simple
porous.
The issue is that you are talking about porous. There is no country in the world that have no porous borders. Even America, you have porous borders. What we are trying to we are not now talking about the porous borders. You are jumping into even the legitimate borders that immigration have been. So let me take it one after the other, because
please go ahead.
That is the area journalists push words into your mouth and get you confused. I'm not confused here. That you mentioned Idiroko, excuse me please, Idiroko, Seme border, Ufom borders. I am opportune to go around the borders on my own. Around these borders you mentioned on my own. Of recent, I just came back from Calabar with my friend here. So I have seen a lot of things that pressmen give a different narrative from what is really happening. You know, press, if you are not careful, when one person killed, they will say dozens of people killed in so. I'm very careful in engaging the press. Otherwise, you will end up being the person that is guilty. Well, let's go back to immigration. The Benue and Plateau still, it is an issue that is on the shoulders of the police and the security services, not immigration. It's already an internal security. The immigration area that you mentioned that people have not been seeing, that means you have not been following. I want you next time, Mr. Sunday, whenever you see an incident, please follow it to the immigration headquarters and see what normally happens. Me, I do it. This is the work I do more. When I see things, I follow it to a logical conclusion. I will engage the minister, I will engage the CG until I see the end of the episode. I've done it several times, and I've seen action being taken. Some officers were even dismissed. They are in the industrial court dragging the service to come back. Some officers have been penalized. Some officers have been, barred from even operating in those areas that they are found wanting. So when you say immigrations are doing this and nothing has been taken, no, I'm not saying you lie, but I'm saying you are getting it wrong. Try to follow it up. The disciplinary committee has been busy these days doing one or two.
But the disciplinary committee does not make public.
It's not. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
In a regimental outfit,
the sanctions.
In a regimental
the
outfit,
sanctions of this regimental committee
my brother,
is not made public.
It's not.
One would have expected that if such an incident happened, that we would have known who has been dismissed.
In a regimental outfit, this is a security outfit.
Yeah.
It's not everything that you go on the press and be broadcasting. No, until when it involves you and I being maltreated or being extorted, then that is the case that will come in the open. But when the country, because they have to establish fact before coming to the public. You don't rush to the public. These are security agents. And if you say a complaint has been brought to the service on an officer that has extorted, they have to establish, like the case of a woman that told her husband passport at the airport. They say they are scripted, but the CG summoned the woman. In fact, she got the woman arrested and was brought here, detained, faced the necessary action. I think the case was forwarded to appropriate authority, maybe police and the DSS to handle it. Even though she said it wasn't the original passport she took, but that passport you took is still a passport. If you read at the back of passport, it is not your property. It's not my property. It's the property of the federal government. So when you destroy it, you have tampered with federal government
even
property.
If it's a counterfeit property.
No, how do you know it is a counterfeit?
She has come out to assert that.
And then the counterfeit should be used. The counterfeit should be used as an evidence in the court of law.
If it is carrying a counterfeit at the back of it, then of course.
No, saying it as a counterfeit does not make it a counterfeit.
All right.
So because if she says, okay, where is it? Then the immigration now will use the numbers there to make sure that it's not actually the counterfeit. This woman tore everything and threw it away. Even though some pieces were gathered, but you can't get all. So you cannot just say counterfeit, holding a counterfeit money, and police will just, it's a counterfeit, let me allow. No, the counterfeit and you will be brought to face the charges. It's part of the charges. And see, you can be accused of stealing your own money. Sure, you know. So if something like this, if you can be accused of it, then you come and destroy something that made believe, kind of, made the country to believe that you destroy something wrong. And we were seeing it as a real passport she was tampering with, or real government property she was tampering with. And she just told the press that, no, it was a prank. Prank? When you get there, you will explain. Just like somebody killing himself and say it's a prank, you explain to Baba God. So my own is that this thing, the destruction in the immigration or whatever, in the any security outfit, did not start during Tinubu era or Buhari era or Kemi era or whatever. It started over the years, then accumulated. So tackling it, it takes a little time to get it right. Now many things have been going underground. That's why I said, please find time to visit the Immigration High Command to ask some questions. They will feed you with unimaginable results and you will be surprised. There was a time I engaged the CG. I said, Madam, it is time for you to face the press. Tell them, she said, I want my work to speak for itself. I said, not in Nigeria. Nigeria want you people, want you to be talking, even though it is a lie. And she said, I'm not a product of lies. I tell them what it is, what I am doing, what I met, the corrections I am making for the bad leadership. Don't forget that we had one of the bad leadership under Wurawala, a stagnated immigration. The damages caused by that particular CG is still under repairs. And before her, there were some bad leaders that headed that service. Do you know one bad thing about immigration? Over the years, immigration CGs or leaders or heads of immigration are busy building empire, building structures. That's chasing the subject and chasing the shadow and leaving the subject. They were busy building structures and the staff, the personnel of the service are hungry. So, as I said, and I kept on saying, and I will keep on saying, until you get that side right, nothing you can get it right. Because when you are trying to build an immigration, a corrupt-free immigration, a legitimate immigration, or a well-presented immigration that meet with the global standard, you have a long way to go. It's not about providing security at the airport, surveillance cameras, vehicles. It's about building the personnel first. You build the personnel, equip him, feed him, accommodate him, then you give him tools to go and work. When you are okay, you can be financially okay, but when you have your 3 square meal, well-balanced meal guaranteed, and you are in the field, not thinking of what to eat, you do better than the person that go on 010 or 101 kind of. So I still insist, border security, staff welfare is part of the border security. Let them feed them well. Take care of their needs. They should be even primary or secondary school in some of these formations for their children to study. Let the burden be taken away from them. And by that time, they concentrate. The patriotism will come. I'm telling you, no amount of patriotism can work with a hungry man. No. So feed the officer, provide welfare, provide quarters. Let them be quartered. Provide office accommodations. Provide office gadgets. Even though you start batch by batch or grade by grade, let it start elsewhere. Now, in her design of this year budget, she captured the whole 774 local government. I saw the plan. Immigration office will be built. They have started securing lands. Or immigration office will be built in each local government, our own, and the immigration own building, not sharing with local government secretariat. Then a staff quarters for each local government.
Ambassador, at this point, I'm sorry we have to let you go, but let's see this as the conversation around this issue on 1.0. Because we have to bring you back. There are a lot of conversation we need to have, even on assessing the criminalities that is going on within the Nigerian borders and the criminality elements that is within the borders. But I want to say thank you so much, Ambassador Kumasi, for being a part of the show today.
Thank you too for carrying me along.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go this evening on Big Talk here on Global Television. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Till Big Talk come your way again, same time tomorrow. Do stay fulfilled and have a restful evening. Bye for now.